Hi guys, my name is Ranga. I'm your host for today's episode of The Current Hustle. The Current Hustle is a talk show that talks about Zimbabwe's crazy economic landscape. For anyone who's living in it, it's like hell. Prices are going up, there are no goods, there are fuel shortages, the jerrycan issue. There's a whole host of issues that are affecting our day-to-day lives. And we're here to discuss on that and to give advice. Now, let's talk about the rate. Last week, we asked you guys to predict where the rate will be this week. Surprisingly, the rate has come down. Now, the big question in everyone's mind is, why has the rate come down? Do you know that the rate last week went as high as 600%? And surprisingly, this week came down to levels of 290. And although gradually going up, there's been some form of improvement. But the key question for the common man on the ground is, why is the rate fluctuating? Why does it move to such levels and come down? What is really happening? Is there someone manipulating the rate? Is there someone who's benefiting from the rate movements? The government, the Reserve Bank governor gave a statement last week and said, and it gave indications that there are some people or bigwigs who might be involved in the rate movement. The big question is, what is government doing about it? And is the law going to take its course on such individuals who are causing the common man to suffer? We urge government to really move with speed to ensure stability in the rate so that our economy can somehow find its feet. Let's talk about the 2% tax. I'm sure you're all aware this is now legal, and you must have received some form of message from either your bank or your mobile operator. And despite the issue that there's a bit of a court case with people challenging the 2% tax, the fact is it's here, and it might be here to stay for long. Now, what does that mean for the common man? It's a very tough call because it increases your expenditure, it increases your cost. But the bottom line is, given our situation, we have to deal with what we have. What does that mean for a common man like myself? The fact is, transaction costs have gone up. Revenue levels have remained very static. Now, how can I get around this tough situation? The best advice we can give you: plan your bill payments, particularly for your larger transactions and for things like your groceries, so that you don't have to have numerous transactions which are necessary and you get unnecessary billed. We also urge the government to continue consulting with regards to this 2% tax, continue engaging the civic and various players in the economy. Now, let's talk about fuel. The truth of the situation is that the fuel situation looks as if it's improved from last week. Obviously, we are not yet out of the woods. Despite the fiasco that we've been seeing of the jerry cans, the banning of the jerry cans and all these things, I think we're at a stage now where government and everyone now needs to work hand in hand. Government needs to ensure that it allays fears to people with regards to the fuel situation so as to reduce panic buying and all these hoarding and speculative activities which have affected our fuel situation. It's obviously a tough situation because there are greater issues at play, but given the way we are right now, we are at a far much better place than we were last week. Let's talk about the retail sector. Some shops are closed for business, some open for business. To those that are open for business, thumbs up. Good initiatives have been brought in. Some retailers have been rationing, and the truth of the matter is that it seems to be working. Rationing has reduced the level of hoarding, has reduced the level of speculative buying, and reduced the level of panic buying. So, as responsible citizens, we have a moral right to ensure that we don't promote the behavior of hoarding, the behavior of speculative buying, the behavior of panic buying. And to all the related parties and stakeholders, we encourage everyone to be careful about what you post, particularly on social media, so as not to exacerbate the situation. In closing, this week has been a very eventful week with a lot of negatives and a lot of positives. But the truth is, we've made progress from this time last week. The fact is, we're not out of the woods yet, but with unity of purpose, we can overcome. For those with questions, comments, feel free to post below. Have a pleasant week and see you next week.